Imagine being told you would never amount to anything. Imagine struggling in school, labeled as slow, different, or even a failure. What if the world doubted you before you even had a chance to prove yourself? This is the story of a man who faced rejection, misunderstanding, and failure, yet refused to let the world define him. A man whose name would one day become synonymous with genius. This is the story of Albert Einstein. As a child, Einstein was different. He didn't speak fluently until he was almost 4 years old. His teachers thought he was slow, distracted, even incapable of learning. One teacher even told him he would never succeed in life. Imagine that being written off before you've even had a chance to start. In school, he didn't fit in. He hated the rigid structure, the memorization, the way he was expected to think like everyone else. While other students followed the rules, Einstein questioned them. He wasn't failing because he lacked intelligence. He was failing because the system wasn't built for minds like his. But here's the thing about greatness: it doesn't follow the rules. It doesn't fit inside a classroom. It doesn't get defined by a report card. And Einstein knew that. He refused to believe he was a failure. He refused to let his struggles stop him. Instead, he became obsessed with learning on his own terms. He read books on mathematics and physics far beyond his grade level. He thought in ways that others couldn't even comprehend. But the road wasn't easy. After barely making it through school, he applied to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School, but guess what? He failed the entrance exam. Can you imagine that? The man who would one day redefine the laws of the universe failed a school exam. But did he give up? No. He studied harder, tried again, and eventually got accepted. Still, success didn't come overnight. After graduation, Einstein couldn't even get a job as a teacher or scientist. No one believed in him. He was forced to take a low-paying job at a patent office, reviewing other people's ideas instead of working on his own. But instead of feeling sorry for himself, he used his spare time to study, to think, to imagine the impossible. And then, something incredible happened. At the age of 26, while working a job that had nothing to do with his dreams, Einstein wrote for research papers that would change the world of physics forever. One of them introduced the famous equation E=mc, a formula that would become the foundation of modern science. The very man who had been told he would never succeed had just redefined our understanding of the universe. And suddenly, the world took notice. Scientists who once ignored him now called him a genius. Universities that had rejected him now wanted him to teach. The boy who had been called a failure in school became one of the greatest minds in history, winning the Nobel Prize in physics and revolutionizing the way we see time, space, and energy. But here's the most powerful part: Einstein's success wasn't about being the smartest person in the room. It wasn't about fitting in. It was about believing in himself when no one else did. It was about following his curiosity, trusting his unique way of thinking, and refusing to accept failure as the final answer. Albert Einstein once said, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." So ask yourself, are you letting someone else define your worth? Are you holding yourself back because of a failure, a rejection, a label someone else put on you? If Einstein had listened to his teachers, if he had let failure stop him, the world would have never known his brilliance. And the world is waiting for yours. It doesn't matter if people doubt you. It doesn't matter if you've failed. It doesn't matter if the road is hard. What matters is that you keep going, keep learning, and never let anyone tell you who you are supposed to be. Because the greatest minds, the biggest successes, and the most incredible breakthroughs all come from those who refuse to give up. If Albert Einstein could go from struggling in school to changing the world, imagine what you can do if you refuse to quit. If this story inspired you, like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Keep pushing forward. Your success story is